Hi guys, so welcome to the workshop for the first episode of a series that I'm really looking forward to. So just to give you guys a bit of background and the reason for doing this, as you might have seen in the thumbnail and the title, I've recently had a buddy that started bow hunting, or just shooting bows in general. And disclaimer, I'm not a veteran myself. I only started about 2 years ago. But what happened to him is he's shooting a bow, a Hoyt actually, and he purchased the bow secondhand, as most people do. Archery is quite an expensive sport to get into. And afterwards he went to set up the bow at a local pro shop, and they told him, listen, your draw length is X, let's say 26, and the bow was set up for 25. And being a Hoyt, bit of an older model, they couldn't get replacement modules for him. So he's in a situation where he's actually going to sell his bow and buy a new one just because his draw length's off just a little bit. And that got me thinking, the archery environment that we find ourselves in really focus on everything needs to be absolutely perfect. You need to have the perfect setup, the perfect practice, everything needs to be absolutely perfect. And if it's not that, it's not going to work at all. So what I want to do with this little mini series is challenge the status quo. So what we're going to do is we're going to start building a bow. So just to give you a bit of reference, I'm a right-handed shooter. I shoot this Matthews bow behind me. It's right-handed with a drop away ripcord and so on and so forth, single pin adjusted. Perfectly suited to me, because when I started I heard the same thing. I went to measure myself at a pro shop. They told me 30-inch draw length. I got myself a bow in that, started practicing, replaced the old 5-pin that I had with the single pin because that was supposed to be better, replaced the whisker biscuit with a drop away because that was supposed to be better. And I'm not actually so sure that it makes that big a difference. So what we're going to do is we're going to set up the world's worst bow. I'm going to take this bow. So this is a PSE Dream Season Evo. So it's actually a bow I borrowed from a buddy of mine. It's a left-handed bow. So there's the first thing that's not supposed to be. I'm a right-handed shooter. I'm definitely right eye dominant. I had myself tested, and this is a left-handed bow. As you can see, obviously your riser goes to the left. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to build this thing as cheaply as possible in the wrong draw length, left-handed, make it as hard as possible for myself, and see if this still works. Later in this episode we'll take it outside and we'll shoot it a little bit, and maybe even in the next episode we'll take it on a hunt and see if it's really that important for you to have this perfect setup that they want you to have. But anyway, so like I said, this is a PSE Dream Season. It's a 2011 model, so it has the adjustable cams. It can go anywhere from 25.5 to 30 inches of draw length. As I said, my draw length is 30 inches, but I've got this one set up to the C. So I don't know if the camera will focus there, but if you look over here, it's at C. So C, if you look at the manual, is actually 29 inches. So it's an entire inch too short. I don't want to go too wild with it because I want to give it a fair shot. So in the same example that I talked about with my buddy, I'm going to be exactly an inch out. Like I said, not right-handed, left-handed. So we're out a little bit out there as well. Yeah, it's an awesome bow. It's very cool, as I said. And at the end, we might give that away or give it back, or we'll see what happens. Secondly, I want to talk about the arrows that I'm going to shoot. So these are just some old general arrows that are literally general arrows, not anything funny, general, from CC Common Core that I had lying around. They are 300 spine, which I think is going to be a bit heavy. As I'm shooting left-handed, I'm not that strong. This bow can go anywhere between 40 and 70 pounds. So we're definitely going to turn that down. I'm not going to be able to shoot 70 pounds left-handed. So this is a 300 spine arrow. It's way too stiff, but like I said, the entire point of this video is to challenge the status quo. Do you need the absolute perfect length and spine arrow to set up for, I think it's a 31-inch draw. I'll measure the carbon to carbon for you guys later, and we'll maybe just pop it in here. But yeah, so like I said, not the best arrow. Then the sight, this is an Axiom sight. So I took a little video. So I actually bought this off Facebook Marketplace for 400 Rand. I'll put the dollar equivalent of that down here as well, but you can basically divide it by 20 and get the dollar amount. So really cheap, little 3-pin sight. It's supposed to be right-handed, but it's a little bit ambidextrous, so you can flip it around. So that's what we did. And yeah, let's see, it's not a massive expensive, massive nice. I think it's a 3-pin archery sight is basically the most simple sight you can get, the most low-tech sight. And yeah, that's what I want to try. Then moving on, this is the rest we're going to use. It's an Apache rest. So obviously Apache rests are nice quality rests, but it's a rest I got for free. Was laying around in a guy's shop, and he said, well listen, if you want to use it and try it, go for it. So free, cheap, a combination of nice and not so nice with the rest in the sight. So yeah, it's going to be cool to try. And then lastly, this is just a little sand-filled stabilizer. When we put it on here, it's so short it doesn't even go past the limbs. So it's not this massive long bee stinger or something that comes out here and that supposedly gives you this brilliant balance on your bow. So yeah, we're definitely going to try that. So yeah, let's move into the build. I'm going to start by just waxing the strings, and after I've done that, we'll add the sight and the rest. Okay, so let's get started. This is the original bowstring that came with the bow in 2011. So I'm just going to go ahead and I'm going to wax off these strings. Now that we're done waxing the strings, the rest, a good rule of thumb is when you use the burger hole and you lift your rest, that the height of the arrow is the same height as the burger hole. So I'm just going to go ahead. I already unscrewed this earlier, so I'm going to remove. Okay, make sure to keep that together. There. Okay, so if we flip this over, you can pop on the rest. We'll just move it in here. Take a little bolt, pop it in. So I'm just gonna tighten this finger tight so we can still adjust it. And if you look there, you've obviously got a bit of play going forwards and backwards. I like to put it quite against the riser, trying to keep it as parallel to the bow as possible. So I'm going to line it up there. I'm going to take my Allen key and I'm going to tighten it down. So, like I said, you can probably do it with a power level. I'm not going to go into that much detail right now. Maybe if I see it's a problem, we'll do it a bit later, but yeah, it's quite horizontally even. Then what I'll do is, just to get some reference, I'll take an arrow and I'll pop it in. And I'll knock it. So this already has a connection point tied into it. So I'm not going to go ahead and retie that. I don't think it's necessary and kind of defeats the purpose of this video. But as you guys can see, I'm going to flip this around. When my rest is in the upright position, the arrow actually lines up with the burger hole. So the burger hole is that little hole that your screw goes through to attach your rest, and that lines up quite perfectly. So for now I'm going to leave that. Later when we shoot it, we might adjust it, but that's fine for now. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to remove the arrow, put that to one side. And then what we need to do is we need to attach our drop-aways pin. I don't have an Leatherman with me, just give me a sec. So we found that. So we're gonna loosen our little screw here. So it's important that you attach your drop-aways line in a way that it only pops up in a little final bit of your tool, and that it obviously drops away as you're shooting. So you want your arrow to be free floating as long as possible. So I'm just going to take a little bit of a wild guess. I've had quite good luck with this specific brand of rest attaching right where the stabilizer attaches to the bow. So I'm just going to go ahead and flip this around. hopefully the final draw. Okay, so I think that's perfect. We're going to leave it up right there. There's the final snug down. Okay, cool. And then we can move over to the side. So we're going to move over to the side. Like I said, it's the axion side. And we're going to go ahead and take our Allen key. It's always one size smaller than you expect, because that's big. Okay, so I'm going to take our Allen key and we're just going to remove these bolts. Okay, we're going to take our side, and you'll see this side generally has a couple of holes that you can use, moving it further towards you or more towards you or further away. I generally like using the middle holes, these two, this one and this one. I just feel if you're in the middle, you're closer to an even starting point, and you can always adjust from there. So I'll just put that one in there, and this one. Okay, so those are snug down, and yeah, basically that's our build. We will go into some setup a bit later, but basically that's it. So it obviously came with the stabilizer bar. We added the stabilizer as well as the drop away rest and the sight. Simple 3-pin. I think we'll probably go 15, 20, 30 for hunting applications. We won't exceed that. And yeah, so let's go test this baby out.